Good evening folks, welcome to John's Block, first recipe of season 3. Two sets of films for this because tonight I'm making a dumpling dough and then when I actually cook the main meal tomorrow I'll be doing the chicken casserole side of it. So the dumplings I always make in advance, personal choice. You can make them on the day. They need half an hour in the fridge. I tend to put them in overnight just to let them proof, and then I'll take them out an hour or so before I need them tomorrow night to film the casserole. So before I start, because I'm baking, I take off all the jewellery because it gets covered in butter and flour and we don't want that all to get all over that. So nice clean hands, make sure they're clean and fresh. We have the flour in here. I will put the amount of ingredients on the recipe card when I put that up for the film. We have half the amount of butter, weight-wise, to the flour. I'm going to flavour this one with thyme. So the thyme ingredient, dried thyme, you can use fresh, it's absolutely fine. We've got some salt and pepper and we've got some water to finish the pastry mix. So to the flour, I'm going to add dried thyme. As I say, if you want to use fresh you can, but a good pinch, you can put as much or as little in as you want depending on how much you like thyme or tarragon or whatever herb you want to use. So that's that in there. Next thing I'm going to add is the last of the dry ingredients, a good pinch of salt, and I'm actually going to put some pepper in as well because we like pepper in this house. You don't have to, it's something, it's personal choice. So basically in there we've got all the dried ingredients. I'm going to give them a little stir with a spoon to start with, just so that they're all mixed up, and then that spoon can right there for the water. The butter, nice and cool, it's been chopped up into small cubes, get that in there. And basically the same as if you're making pastry, is you want to rub it in so that you get it so it's like breadcrumbs. So rather than you watch me do all of this, I'm going to cut to the chase and I'll show you the breadcrumbs when they're ready before I add the water. Okay folks, so that's it all rubbed in. It's nice breadcrumb effect. Now we start adding the water. I'm going to do it a tablespoon at a time. You can pour if you like. We want at least 5 tablespoons in there. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I tend to use my fingers. You can do all of this in a food processor, by the way, if you prefer. I don't like it. I find that washing a bowl afterwards a lot easier and quicker than trying to clean a food processor for the sake of 5 minutes of rubbing. And I find it quite therapeutic just to rub that all in. Pull a bit more off your fingers. Sticky, but not sticky enough yet to make into a dough. Add another couple of teaspoons. Bring it all together. Yeah, that's better. That's sticky and that will start to bind. And the idea is you move it around until you've got all the breadcrumbs nicely off the bottom of the bowl so it starts to stick together as one lump of dough. I'm no pastry expert, but when it comes to making dumplings, handmade is better every time, in my view. My wife normally does pastry, but when it comes to dumplings, I actually love doing this. So that is virtually ready now to turn out. I'm going to flour the block and finish getting all these sticky bits off, and then we'll bind it together, ready to put in the fridge. So have a little flour shaker there, don't need the water anymore. I'm going to basically get this well and truly floured, so when I turn it out it doesn't stick to the board. And then we're back out here. There's a few crumbs left, but these will all bind together on the board. Don't need that anymore. And basically I'm going to bring this all together into one lump. It doesn't need to be kneaded a great deal. All you're doing is binding it together so it holds. And a little bit of flour on the block like I've just done. This will do exactly that. Should feel nice and moist underneath. Shape it so you've got a nice ball like that ready to break off your dumplings on. Good evening folks, welcome back to John's Block. This is the dough that we made yesterday. We've got the chicken here. I've got 6 thick chicken thighs with bones in. Bones help keep the moisture in and also very good for getting flavour. And if you cook the chicken just perfectly, the chicken will fall off the bone once you've casseroled it. Okay. So we're going to start by adding some oil to both pans. That's for the chicken, and that's to start the glazing of the onions and the carrots. Put them both on, as we know, this cooker number 9. Get some heat going into those pans. We're going to have a quick chat with Ruby. You'll notice from my video that I put her down as the Hoover. She loves food, don't you, babe? And she is an absolute angel. 11 years old this year. Absolutely gorgeous and loving all the attention with us being at home all the time. If we ever do have to go back to the office to work, then it'll be a sad day for her. Heat into the veg pan now. That might look like an awful lot of veg, but believe me, it will go down to virtually nothing. Got a good cracker on it, and we'll turn that down to 7 now while that carries on. And a little bit of pepper to that. I'm not going to add any salt at this stage purely because we're going to put a stock cube in there. Okay, stock cube, I've got 2, one to go in here and one will go into the stock that we add to the chicken when that's fried off. And we're going to add a little bit of thyme to the flour here. This is to dress the chicken. I'm going to mix it in a little bit, and then we're going to dress the chicken. That's up to temperature. Turn that down to 8 now from 9. And basically we are going to coat the bottom of it only, not the skin. And I'll explain why in just a moment. So we're going to put that skin side down with the flour up. Skin side down with the flour up. Okay, skin you want to get crispy, and the flour will be to thicken the sauce once we've got everything in place. Okay, good laying of that. You can see it's all going into the pan on the other camera. There we go. One more to go in. I've basically done the 3 of us in this family. I've got 2 thighs each. That's that. Go over there now. So we have chicken frying here, vegetables frying off here. Stock cubes with the veg with a bit of pepper. We're now going to add some thyme and basil to that as well. You can use whatever herbs you want. You don't have to use thyme and basil just as I do. If you don't like thyme and basil, use garlic and tarragon more. It really is up to you to put in the flavours that you like. I always use a lot of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce is a mixture of herbs and spices and peppers and things like that. It adds flavour, so I use it a lot in my sauces. And go from there, and that was the first one in, so that's starting to brown. So that has started to brown on the bottom there. Turn that back up to number 8. That is, on the counter. And basically that is going to go back up to number 9 until it starts to simmer. As soon as it starts to simmer, I will put a lid on. And we want to cook that just until it's soft. Not as in falling apart soft, but just al dente. So just cooked. Let's have a look here. Skin there is nicely browning. You turn these over now and start the bottom side. See a good colour in the skin there. When we add the stock later, and all we're doing at the moment is sealing the chicken. This will then come out of the pan. We'll make some sauce to add to that to thicken that, and then the whole thing will be put back together, dumplings on top and into the oven. Speaking of which, the oven you want it on about 170, between 170 and 178, 170 and 180. So let's look at the dumplings. We do 6, possibly 7 depending on size and how many we've got left. This is all going to end up in the one pan and go in the oven. That pan will go in the oven as soon as everything's ready. Put a little bit of flour down. I'm not going to bother taking more watching what moves up tonight because this is literally the finishing touch. Right. We want a knife, 2.5, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and we just want to create a round dumpling. You can make them whatever shape you want. I've seen recipes of them like torpedo shape. Chicken is now coming on beautifully. Let's double check that. That's browning off nicely on the bottom as well. Had I had that on number 9, just 1 point higher on the scale of cooking, that would have all burnt by now. But that is just toasting away nicely. So the casserole vegetable mix is now working well. I'm going to take that off there, and there we go. Let's get it good on that. That can now get turned down to number 7, and that will simmer away until it's soft. This chicken is almost cooked enough. You can see it's nice and crispy. And yeah, do that a little bit longer on those two. The main cooking of this, for actually cooking all the way through and tenderising, will be done in there, and it gets added to that. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to switch off the camera now and literally turn those off. So we'll do in a couple of minutes. Take them out of the pan, and then I'll come back to you and we'll make the sauce to go with that once it's ready. Okay? So we'll see you soon. So guys, you've seen a couple of stills we've had from here. I've added an onion to the stock and some butter and some flour. That will become the thickening agent for the casserole before we put it in the oven. Just going to add some water to that now. I've just boiled the kettle, and this will be the start of the thickening process. Okay, so I'm just going to literally let that fuse together, reduce the stock cube down to nothing. So it just starts to thicken. You can see that it's not completely water, it is starting to gently thicken, and that's what we want. You could add gravy granules if you wish. On this occasion I'm not. I just think you get all the flavour of the chicken plus the chicken stock, and this will all go into the pan over here as soon as those veg are cooked. So I'm just going to test those now. Take a knife. Carrot was the biggest vegetable, so we're going to just see if that's ready. You can see al dente, so that is perfect. So we now want to add, we'll pop that out of there, out of the way, and bring this forward so you can see. And I'm literally just going to stir that into there. And so stock cube, flour, butter, and the juices left from frying off the chicken. Okay, I know somebody who's going to love this pan. Maybe you can have that cooled down. Stir that, get that back on. Number 7, stir that through so that starts to thicken, and I'm going to add just a fraction more water to that so that there's plenty of juice to mature the chicken into. And then we take the chicken pieces, flour side down, so it's not the skin side, it's the other side, and just place them around the edge. Should be enough to get all 6 in there. This is the biggest saucepan I've got, so one thing I need to invest in is just a bigger saucepan for doing larger pots. This is going to fit okay, that one in the middle. Yeah, so that's perfect. That will now go in the oven with its lid on for about 40 to 45 minutes. We'll test it nearer the time to make sure the chicken is falling off the bone, nice and soft. The last thing we'll do is add the dumplings with about 20-25 minutes to go so that they're cooked. Take the lid off so the dumplings will all go crispy. Okay, so let that come to the boil, and then we're going to whack it in the oven. That is now simmering, so off with a hot plate, open the oven, create some space, and away we go. So, as I say, with about 25 minutes to go, we'll take the lid off, test it, and then hopefully place the dumplings around the top, and they will then get all the juices soaked up from underneath, as well as the heat from on top, which will crisp the top. You don't have to have them crispy on top. If you don't want them crispy on top, leave the lid on. They will still stay soft and doughy and be absolutely gorgeous. It's your choice, depending on what you want. I haven't decided yet. I might go soft, I might go crispy, we'll see. So we'll come back and finish this off in about 40-45 minutes time. Alright, take care. Hey guys, welcome back. So 35-40 minutes are up. I'm going to take this out of the oven, have a look at it, make sure the chicken is really tender and the veg are cooked all the way through. If they are, dumplings will go in on top. If they're not, then we'll put them back in the oven. But it should be good, I think. Remember to use a cloth if you take anything out of the oven. Hate for you to burn yourself. So that is bubbling away beautifully. So we're now going to have a look at to see if that's cooked. Nice thin knife for this, and you should be able to see. Firstly, the carrots are now soft and cooked all the way through. And that chicken is to die for. Okay, so squash the chicken down a little bit. Your dumplings now need to go in on top of that. These are the dumplings we made earlier, you saw. And we're going to place the dumplings around the edge between the pieces of chicken. And this will take about half an hour. And as I said previously, if you like them with crispy tops, don't put the lid back on the saucepan when you put it back in the oven, leave it so that they crisp up. If you like them soft, put the lid back on. We had crispy dumplings last time I cooked them, so this time we're going to go for the soft option and we're going to put the lid back on. That's just choice, okay? So that's what it should look like. And pop the lid back on, they will steam and puff up. And we'll put them back in the oven for half an hour. I'm going to serve some frozen peas with it. I've got the kettle there ready to boil, pour boiling water over just before we're ready to serve. A little bit of butter to give them flavour, and then we'll be good. So I will sign off now again for half an hour, and I'll come back to you to plate up when everything's ready. Okay guys, all done now. Dumplings have risen, got peas to cook, so I'm going to put the kettle on to pour boiling water over the peas. That'll take just a couple of minutes. Take this out of the oven, it will keep its heat for ages and ages. The oven can go off. And that is bubbling away beautifully. To recap, we've got a chicken casserole with homemade dumplings, some peas, which we're going to boil off now, and the chicken, which was fried off with flour coating, which helps thicken the gravy. You can make the gravy as thick or as thin as you like, depends on your taste. We like ours reasonably thin, so that we can soak it all up with the dumplings and everything like that. Make it too thick, there's not as much juice to soak up with the dumplings, so that's what we do. Okay guys, ready to dish up. Just got the peas to strain, so I'm going to put them through the colander, let them drain, and back in the pan, like so. And then to that, while the heat is still on, we are going to add just the smallest lump of butter. Just give them a lovely coating. Don't need the heat on anymore. Stir that through, and we are good to go. So I'm going to plate up. Just going to do one for the moment because we're not quite ready to eat, but I want you to see how lush these dumplings are. So dumpling, and look at that soft chicken. Soft chicken. And all that lovely veg, very slightly thickened stock. As I say, you can thicken this as much as you want, or as little as you want. Some people don't thicken it at all and just let the meat juices do their thing. And there we have chicken casserole with thyme and basil dumplings and frozen garden peas with butter. Should be yummy. So I'm going to sit down and enjoy that now. We will see you in a week's time for our first book review, which will be first for me. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Again, I'd like your feedback on that and feedback on anything you've seen today. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you very soon. Bye for now. Evening all, welcome back. Little added bonus tonight. Got leftovers from the chicken casserole we did, so I thought I'd just do literally a 5-minute video of what we do with leftovers in this house, because we don't throw anything away. So I've got 3 dumplings, because we ended up having one each the other day. Some of the stock with the vegetables in. The chicken, I've taken the bones out and chopped up, and I put a fresh onion in there to basically start the cooking process again. So all I'm going to do is a little bit of oil in there. Number 9, put the onions in to start with, and then we will add the chicken once they are cooked. And all you want to do with this is sweat the onions down to get them soft, put the chicken in, we're going to add some of the gravy. If there's any gravy left, I'm going to turn that into a soup and have that for lunch probably one day during the week. Good thing about it will keep in the fridge for sort of 4 or 5 days quite easily, as long as you remember to refrigerate it. So with the dumplings, they have gone crispy on top because they've been out in the air. All I want to do is add a little bit of moisture to that. So the easiest way to do that is with your tap. Have it on like that and just sprinkle water on top. Just before we're going to serve those, I'm going to whack them through the microwave on a medium power. You don't want to put them on high, so otherwise they'll go like bullets. A medium power for a short period of time, short blast at a time. Now I'm going to add the chicken. To make it a little bit different, I'm going to add some spice to it, a little bit of Tabasco. And that'll just make it a different flavour, but you'll still get all that lovely chicken stock. Some of the stock in. You can always add a bit more. A little bit of gravy granules, you don't need a lot. And it's already had the flour and butter in from the thickening first time we did it. Leave that to simmer. I'm going to put this on third power for 1 minute. Have a little taste, always taste. Always good. Perfect. A little bit of spice from the Tabasco. All the flavour of the chicken that we had when we had the chicken casserole yesterday. And you've got a slightly different flavour in there now to enjoy. Okay, we're almost there on that. So we'll turn that down to about 30 seconds. Turn that down now to number 6, just so it simmers. Only 2 of the heating, so I'll just chop the small one in half. All done. And there you have the second meal from the chicken casserole. Leftovers. No waste. Perfect. See you next week.